Welcome to Lesson 3 in Unit 25, Science in St. Louis. In this lesson, students will answer the question, how have the land and water features around the Gateway Arch changed over time? This lesson, students are going to look at how meandering rivers can change their path over time. They'll specifically look at land topography, erosion, and deposition, and how all of these factors affect the path of a river over time. In the Engage portion of this lesson, you'll go through and give students a riverboat tour. Use the images in the slides and the riverboat tour script found in your teacher pages to give students an image of the characteristics of the Mississippi River. You'll then show students this image of the Mississippi River in 1944. This image also includes other routes the river took prior to 1944. Use this image in the riverboat tour to have students generate questions they have about the path of the Mississippi River. In the Explore part of this lesson, students are going to model a meandering river. They're going to use this model to discuss how erosion and deposition change the shape of the river. To do this activity, you'll need rope, tape, and a meter stick. Prior to class, set up an outline of the river using rope and tape. You'll then have groups of 3 walk the path of your river. You'll need to make sure that they keep the meter stick perpendicular to the sides of the river. Students are going to notice when they're on the outside of a curve, they're going to have to walk faster. And when they're on the inside of the curve, they're going to have to walk slower to keep the 3 of them in line. This models the rate of the current of the river. On the outside of the curves, the river flows faster. That means there's more force there and it will cause erosion. On the inside of a curve, the river will flow slower, meaning that there's more time for that sediment to be deposited onto the banks. That's called deposition. Over time, erosion and deposition will cause the course of the river to change. In the Explain part of this lesson, students will watch 2 videos about meandering rivers changing their path, and then do a reading on a changing river. This article will highlight how the elevation of land can affect the speed of the river, how the speed of the river affects erosion and deposition, and then the pattern at which the river moves sediment. After students have watched the videos and completed the reading, they're going to go back to this original picture of the meander scars of the Mississippi River and talk about how those pieces of evidence support the changing path of the river. In the Elaborate portion of this lesson, students will look at 2 images of when the Mississippi River meets the Gulf of Mexico. One of the images will be from 1863, and the other image will be from 2018. Students might expect for the river to have more curves over time, but they'll notice that the river actually straightened out. Students will watch a video made by the Army Corps of Engineers that help explains how humans have impacted the course of the Mississippi River over time. In the Evaluate section, students will complete a formative assessment. On this formative assessment, students will be asked to analyze a topographic map of the Merrimack River. They will use the map to interpret which way the river flows and highlight a section of the map to explain how the course of the river could change over time and the natural processes that cause those changes. By the end of this lesson, students will have used maps and experimental data to describe the patterns of Earth's features, specifically focusing on rivers, and they will have explained how natural processes have changed the Earth's surfaces over time.